and yet you need all this as well.
We're adding to our real estate as far as Tyngsborough goes. We're building more buildings.
I see that. I gotta be honest, I'm really struggling with the relief. To be on Kendall Road, which is one of our main streets, and have an industrial building 26 feet from the curb, I'm struggling. There's gotta be, you have over 4 acres here. I know you got tanks and there's all sorts of stuff, but there's gotta be another way. And I'm no architect, I just, a person that drives on the street like most everybody here. I couldn't imagine giving this relief to any corporation that came along looking to put an industrial building in.
With this size building, and to be able to accommodate, I mean, it's sized basically for what we have now, and then bring it on board with the, creation of the DPW with the sewer division, and bringing them in, we needed that much more space for all of our equipment. The other thing that we do have, the back part of the property, it does come down to a point, so there's really no place to put a building, where we also, you know, we have our 2 salt sheds, we have a material storage in the back, so the back of the existing garage is basically, you can't.
This plot plan, does it show the whole plot, or does it go back even farther?
No, I couldn't fit it all on the plan, but it goes back pretty far, but it comes right to a narrow point. So directly behind
The
the
existing building.
existing garage is the salt, a large salt shed, and then the new salt shed that we replaced an old one. And then basically it's a narrow little driveway, and then you have material bays, and then where we store compost, and that's about it. And then in the front, because of that large fill area, we would have to construct a pretty sizable wall anyway, just to fill and come out to Kendall Road. And then the other big constraint to this parcel are the gas pumps and being able to
No
accommodate.
wetlands on the property?
No. And then being able to accommodate a bus to maneuver through,
Sure.
and a fire truck.
Any thought giving to maybe reducing the building size, like for instance, the office space cube, if that could be built as an addition to the existing building, off the end of the
Well,
existing
also the
building?
building's 20 feet high. Are you doing a second story,
No,
even in the office space?
no.
It's
I
a
mean, you could.
prefab.
At 20, no?
Prefab.
At 20 feet?
It's a prefab, so.
It'd be a prefab steel building.
That would get us a lot closer to that 100
No,
foot, but would still be.
I'm just trying to come up with ideas.
Yeah.
Office space, certainly 10 feet and 10
Because
feet.
right now, the office space is gonna be, at least from the architecturals that we, or just the high-level renderings, is a conference room, and I think 4 offices, and then an admin area, 2 bathrooms. And then we would basically I mean, in the large-scale plan would be if this building was to be constructed, then we would look at the existing building, make improvements, and add kind of spaces for, you know, the foremans and other employees to actually be able to use. Because right now, that's just enough. I think over there is 2, kind of a lobby area with 2 desks, and then the admin.
No, I'm
and then
thinking,
a couple bathrooms.
I'm thinking that
so-
building being the garage, what is gonna be the utilization of that garage?
That garage?
Forward, the existing garage,
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
So, right now, like I said, we double stack our plow trucks, and we have to turn them to the side in order to fit them all.
Well, I mean, if you had the new building.
The new building
yeah,
would just
and-
take
and-
whatever is in front and then put them in that building, so it's sized for, I mean, how
It'd
many?
be single
One-
deep.
And there's 4,
both
so for our
buildings.
7 trucks, essentially, and then we could fit a couple of the 1-tons in there.
Some
And
of the
then
smaller
backhoe,
trucks.
loader,
Yep.
that type of stuff.
Would that help your situation if you didn't have this section right here? Close to, I mean, at least the office space moved, or, that
would
makes it a
like to
little more
see-
difficult, because as people come in off the street, they have to go all the way to the back of the property. to
Yeah,
get to
no,
the
I get
office.
that,
Yeah,
and I'm not, again, I'm not an architect, but it just seems on 4+ acres, there's a way to make this work that doesn't encroach so much on the street. 26 feet, that's 2 trucks, you know, 2 pickup trucks are pretty much that. That's close. And it's, you know, it's gonna be, I assume, concrete, well, prefab building.
Prefab, yep. Yeah, I mean.
I like it back. I like it back, you know, like
Okay.
industrial buildings should be.
Okay, I mean,
Back in the day, there was talks of putting a building all on the right-hand side, but that was years ago. Does that ring a bell?
along the Bell property.
Well, the side closest to Bryant. So that would be the east side of the property.
With again, the big issue, or the big constraint with this is the gas pumps. If the gas pumps weren't there, if we could put those anywhere, then, I could put the building in a much better location, but because we have to maneuver, or to accommodate certain vehicle movements to make it into the gas pumps, that's kinda.
So that's kind of the crux, is that the gas pumps are kind of
Yep,
ill.
and the gas pumps, and then having to fill, if I tried to put it, say if I turn the building, which I do have that, I've got probably 4 different revisions,
Sure.
for this. And to accommodate the pull-throughs, having it that close, I'd have to put a big retaining wall. on
How
that
old are
corner.
those gas pumps? I know that
Excellent
they-
question.
I know they have to be replaced
old are the
every
gas
certain
pumps?
number of years, right?
You know how that works. Do you
We
get
might be at- we
10
might-
years maybe out of them nowadays?
Yeah.
We might be at end of life with those anyway.
Right?
But yeah, that corner, the bottom, what, I guess it would be the southeast corner, that's about a 10-foot grade difference, so we would have to put a wall there.
66. Yeah. Yeah, I see it.
And then,
Topography drops
you know,
off.
I need area to accommodate drainage and stuff like that, so that 4 acres dwindles down to real fast.
Mm-hmm. I gotta be honest, I can't vote for it as it is presented. I would suggest a motion to continue to think about it some more, but that's a suggestion that I'm making, and I don't, hope I'm not out of character by saying that. That's something you have to approach us with, if that's something you wanna do. We certainly can vote on it if you'd like,
So if you took this section right here,
right?
so that's 26, that's more than 26, so you'd be about 75. You'd be almost at the 100, you'd be at the 75.
If you took that front office
If you
and
took-
moved it back,
moved it and put the. new
this is
addition-
just a suggestion
They're just a suggestion.
for a future meeting.
And
That perhaps that office come off of that building and be moved back close to the existing
And
building.
you'd still have, this is, see the frontage of this building right here, you'd still have the same line of sight right
Yep.
here for driving in and out.
Yep.
Which,
You'd be able to reach the
I mean, it's a
house.
thought, you know, we're just trying to,
Yeah, you'd still need a variance even if you move the office.
yes, that would still require a variance.
what's the thought? I just wanna,
But it may.
I'm sorry?
I just wanna see what the idea.
Oh, sure.
It may help
Well,
some
we're
of the
just taking the
setback.
office right off the front and putting it back here.
Since it's a modular design, he'd be able to tack it onto that other.
So, the way the gas pumps are
What are those things again?
is,
You know, next year, we're gonna have to replace those tanks, right?
See it coming.
this. So, if you had a bus come through, if the building's here, it wouldn't.
Well, and he was just throwing that as an idea.
Yeah.
You know you have more space back here. I know it comes to a point,
Well,
you've got
here,
space.
So,
Or more to the
and then it kinda,
east.
it goes like this with salt shed and another salt shed.
Right.
Material bays, drainage pipe storage, and then it just goes on.
Sure.
Street sweepings, all that type of stuff. We have equipment, trailers all here, landscape equipment, this and that, drainage structures throughout there, more drainage structures here. So it's a tight site, cause, you know, we also don't really have a material yard, and, you know, I'd love to have one.
Mm-hmm.
And then being able to, so if we were to put a building off of,
Well, I think he was showing us an angle off of it, the office building, right?
Yep, so, we also have a bunch of parking of vehicles here, but if you had it angled off of here, you're probably gonna encroach on the gas pumps and being able to maneuver around that. And then if we angled it off here, without, until we get, utilities as part of this project, that's where the septic tank
Right.
leach field is, and that's septic tank.
Utilities are coming though, aren't they? They're putting sewer for this
They
project?
will be, I don't know what the time
Sure.
is on that, and then the leach field is underneath the pavement here. over here, I mean, we do have, the well is here. We would have to relay the water, and we wanna use that for the wash bay, so we're not, spending money.
Again, you're gonna have town water probably in the next
But-
year or two.
With the wash bay, we wanted to still utilize, so we're not spending.
Gotcha, use the well water.
Yeah,
Yep,
we'll use
yep,
the
of
well
course.
water for that.
Yep.
On this side, there's also oil water separator for the garage. And then it's pretty tight back here.
It still sounds like there's some room here. I mean, if that didn't work there, you've still got room. I know it would be separate from that building, but you could put an office over here.
Standalone. The thing with the,
Something to consider.
and again,
It
I'm gonna throw out.
reduces the encroachment.
And I know, so it'd be a separate foundation, separate line of utilities, where you would bring one water service, one fire service, one, electrical line.
Sure.
You could have, you could have
Separate all
an
that
automobile
into-
entrance on that side also, so you could keep them away from the trucks.
Automobile entrance is over here.
Yeah, no, right in front of the building on the lower right here, that you were pointing to, if you put it, if you moved it.
Here?
Yeah.
There's no access there.
No, if you moved
That's
it right here,
salt.
if you moved it right here.
That's a
What's
salt
that?
shed.
If that building, if the office building went right up here, I
Right.
don't know, but that's an elevation or a
This is
drop off.
10
Pretty
feet.
recent,
No.
they
Difference.
just took out all
Yeah.
these trees.
And then right here's our milling, and then also storage.
Yep.
Um,
I mean, we're just throwing ideas, you know,
No,
again,
I
we're not
understand.
architects and all
Well,
that stuff.
I'm glad we're seeing these new ideas, because we're seeing all of the other constraints that really weren't highlighted in your
Sure.
letter.
Well, he mentioned some
It
of
is
them.
a lot, I mean,
Yes.
it would be a long letter,
Yeah, yeah,
Sure, of course.
yeah.
but,
It's an existing building, so it'll go right up front, right here.
and then again, I don't know what the cost of the plans would be associated with having, instead of just one prefab still buildings, two separate ones. I just know you would end up, I know the cost would go up, because then you'd have, two separate services for electrical, two separate meters, two separate, so the cost and the planning for that.
Not trying to spend more money, I want that look on Kendall Road to look good, or continue to look good, and 26 is tight. You don't even see houses at 26.
Maybe go for some sort of a front package, with evergreens or,
At 26?
There is space, it's not right at the street, right? There is like the property line, is there like a sidewalk or something?
Yeah, that'll, as part of the 93 Kendall project, in front of, basically along that entire stretch of Kendall Road from Commerce Drive to Bryant's Lane will be a sidewalk. I didn't show it on here, because they were still developing their plans as I was doing this. But yeah, there'll be a sidewalk there, so I'm assuming you're probably 40 feet from the actual edge of road. Just 26 feet from the property line.
Now, you haven't flagged this building on the property yet, right? There's nothing showing.
You're not gonna see it now. I did have it laid out at one point, but, not currently.
So here's, to give you perspective, the property lines. This is very odd shapes. This is from the town assessors. So this is the property. That's the current DPW.
Oh, okay. Yep, well, there's the point that he mentioned.
very
Yeah.
constrained, yeah.
Very constrained. This, I do not believe, that's the 93, that's the.
Bell property?
Yeah,
Yep.
that's the larger parcel, which will never be developed, so there's no issues back here.
Right. Still seems like there's opportunities.
Without
that side.
knocking this building down, it's very difficult to truly get a 100-foot setback.
Well, that's fine. Now, I'm willing to talk, but I can't talk at 26 feet.
You still have,
And I'd like, well, of course, we'd have to wait till the motion's made. No, there's no reason to flag the existing. Or what's
so
coming.
here's the, it's a very,
I agree with Rob, though, it's very close.
She just got up the site that you can do nowadays, and you
Yeah.
can see that it's long and skinny, and it gets right to a point there at the back
And
end.
I don't know if you have Google Earth on there, or you can see the different, salt.
Sure, the different structures, it shows some of them on there.
Is this a steel constructed building?
Yes.
And what are some of the things that could be added to tone down the industrial nature of it, maybe, for that, for being so close?
I mean,
I
like
guess
I
there's more
mentioned, it would
plantings.
be landscaping the front. I do plan on putting, a new granite sign, moving the old plow blade to the side to kind of act as like another sign into the entrance. Just, and moving the monument to the front,
Right by
sidewalks.
by your new front entrance, so
Yeah.
I think it makes a lot of sense, Rob. You're keeping the proximity of the equipment, you're gaining the access to the equipment so that it
Sure.
makes it more usable, more, in times of an emergency, you're gonna have equipment that's actually
Ready to go.
heated, will be able to start instead of sitting outside. You'll have less time for setup. In the case of taking the plows on and off, you have a good flow diagram with the new road. You've got a nice flow coming in and out of here, right? It is laid out, and it is very efficient. If it's the only thing that you've got is the 26 feet, there's got to be some sort of way to maybe hide that end of the building or something, or with a tree line or something, to make it a little less conspicuous. But I think with all of the constraints, especially the added items that we just discussed tonight, there's really, this is probably the best solution to this layout.
Yeah, and it is a very odd-shaped
Yeah.
property.
Right.
It is
Well, and there's
truly a
already
point.
structures on here. We're not taking down the existing building, because that's the obvious place it should go.
We're keeping the cost to a minimum, right? We're not moving anything that's existing.
Not removing
We're not
gas
moving the-
tanks,
We're
which
not moving the
is-
gas tanks, yeah, right?
Again, we should be looking at it as the Board of Appeals, right? I mean,
All we have to do is,
if it
that's
was a
right.
private person and we're
it's
talking gas tanks,
topography.
we'd be chuckling,
It's,
right?
it's
Just-
soil,
just-
topography,
And the
and
shape of the,
setbacks, yeah,
and the shape of the
dimensional.
of the parcel, which is odd.
Yeah,
If this was a rectangular parcel,
sure.
it'd be,
But it's 4 acres. There's some land here. 400 feet of frontage.
there's not really,
almost.
though. It's, between all the structures and the way that it's laid out,
The stuff that's existing, this is.
yeah, aside from taking out the salt shed and the building,
Yeah.
there's no way to get a 100-foot setback on this property.
Yeah.
You have to take out,
Yeah, I think 100 feet is,
That may be asking too much.
Yeah.
To hit it all the way to the setback. But I believe that the 74, 76 feet that's being asked is just too much. It's just so close to the street with an industrial building.
I think the lighting can be addressed.
I like
And-
what you
Oh,
mentioned about the
landscaping.
night sky. That's really cool.
And-
Anything indirect so that, yeah, you see the lighting, but at least you don't see the source, It's
I think
huge.
plantings on the corners of the building, a nice sign on the building in the middle of the wall with some some trees on either side, some evergreen. I think it would look nice. And it would do the town a favor for, upgrading the equipment condition.
Sure.
And usage model.
May I ask a question? Is there any way to beautify that side of the building to make it,
I'm sure you could put a facade on there.
so make the facade more appealing?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of the look of a steel building, you make it look like a,
So it's not looking as industrial, it's looking more,
that's a good idea.
yeah.
Yeah.
How about that, Rob?
Well, I wonder if maybe getting a 3D look at it might help. I'm just throwing them out there, but I'd like to see what it looks like. I think that sometimes when folks bring us house plans, all we have here is the flat. We don't have the 3D representation of how it looked going down the road. Those things count. And I think that, I know I'm not trying to spend the town's money, but I'm also looking out for the town as far as the look. I think that counts.
I gotta see what it would take to get a 3D rendering. So basically, the way, the procurement works, we can't just source out one particular architect. So We would have to basically, and I can confirm this, procure it, they would, whoever wins the bid would provide us something similar to what we want, and then we would look at it, so we wouldn't have like a definitive rendering of what it would look like. We can get an idea, but again, it's also tied to whatever the, when we put this out to bid, the winning contractor provides.
Do you have plans from the steel metal building manufacturer?
No,
Because
because
that
we-
been,
So we
hasn't
have
been procured yet.
architectural plans that say this is what we want, this is,
Okay, so you haven't bid out
um,
that yet?
you know, the layout, that type of stuff, and then whoever, steel manufacturer wins the bid, they would provide us with, all right, I can get you that with this, manufacturer.
So we also discussed hardships, hardships to the build of the plan of, so I'd like to know what your hardships are right now. If you have any kind of monetary hardships, you have to start this project or procure the building by a certain amount of time, or there's penalties. Do we have any of that information?
You gonna lose the budget?
Yes, we do have, we have a stadia mark that's in the works right now. We do have a commitment from the sewer commission that will not be available by June 30th. And, I believe we do have ARPA funding. So we're waiting on the commitment from the state. But as far as starting, because we also have to do the foundation work, because this was gonna be kind of a two-part, separate, vendor or contractor for the foundation, separate one for the steel building. However, it plays out the.
Are
funding
any of
from
those
the sewer
prices
commission.
locked in right now?
What's that?
Are any of those prices locked in right now?
We did have a bid opening. We only had one bid. We were gonna just, basically, I think they just threw a number at it. It was significantly higher than what we expected.
Mhm.
So we're working with just kinda tweaking a couple things, nothing minor, basically, and then putting it back out to bid. Because we did have one person that was interested on it. He just got to wasn't able to drop off his bid in time.
Mhm.
He alluded to the fact that he was cheaper than,
So if you did have a certain delay because we need more information or whatever, you could actually maybe go out to bid again and rebid, or what are you looking at?
I guess, it's one of those things where we need the steel building manufacturer and their specifications in order to design the foundation.
Yep.
And because we're doing this kind of in a two-part, just kind of way the procurement works, and we're trying to keep costs down, it's almost kind of like the chicken and egg. We need to have the steel building in order to do the foundation, but we gotta have the foundation
And you need to know your
that's the-
design and location in
design
order
and
to do all
location
that.
built, so that we can get the steel
Yep.
building on top.
Whether it has to be two buildings, maybe office is one part, as we discussed previous, and the trucks and the bays are another part. I know that's an additional cost, but that's a lot of land to be 26 feet off the street. I
It
just-
is,
I-
but
I
it's a
can't- I
very
can't come away from
odd-shaped
that. I've
property.
struggled with it for the last couple of days as I've looked at this.
If you split it up, it's gonna cost town more money, if you break that up.
I'm sorry.
gonna be more money.
I can't
It-
be thinking like that, only.
I
The
got
only
you.
way that I see
got
this working is the removal of the building. Like, a building will have to come
Remove
down.
of the existing building.
Yes. in
Oh,
order to-
absolutely. That's the obvious choice. I'm with you
Which is
100%.
gonna cost the town
This
more
goes
money and
there,
lose-
and then presto. What do you do in the interim? I have no idea.
Yeah.
But that's the home run. Then it's back to 200 plus this is at now, 270 off the street.
So you're saying put a new building where the existing building is?
That'd be the
Have
obvious
to
choice.
expand your office altogether, so you'd have to
Yep.
greatly expand the size of the office, because you'd lose your existing office, and then.
Yep.
And in the
That's the
interim, you'd
obvious
have to
choice.
find
We
temporary
can't go,
space.
just to extend on that comment.
Sure.
If we went wider, we wouldn't be able to have appropriate, or if we went longer, say we took this building, we put it where,
Sure.
and we
that's-
kept it the same footprint, we
Yep.
wouldn't be able to probably have adequate access to the back, to the,
Drive-through?
Right.
to get to the salt bays because of how narrow, and then the gas pumps are in the way again, and then,
Yeah, the only way I see this is knocking down the existing building to even get any appreciable setback off the street.
Or how about if you lop off the office on the new building and the old building becomes the whole office? Rehab it. It's already standing.
the entire
The entire
building,
building becomes an office.
we'll lose garage space.
Keep one bay for the short trucks.
We'll still have, because, again, this new building is gonna be 3 bays are highway and then 2 bays of sewer. So we'll still have 4 trucks out in the elements. And then we also house a Bobcat, our sign, our message boards, light tower, and a couple Bobcats.
Okay, that won't work.
Yeah, I think
Again,
the-
we're just coming up with suggestions that
Yeah,
make it work. You know, I really would like you to think about this a little bit more. That's why I'd mentioned a few minutes ago to entertain the motion to continue, so we don't just deny. And I'm, again, assuming things, because I think we need all 4 votes here, right? So that's where Rob's
You
going.
have to be unanimous on
Right,
this one.
that's where Rob's going with the whole
yeah, we have to
deal.
be
Should we
unanimous.
take a straw poll, straw vote? See how
can
we
do
all
that.
stand, right? Just to see how we all stand. Straw vote, just how you would feel. Nikki?
I'm on the fence personally, but based on the discussions we've had about how difficult it would be to move things around, I would lean towards yes, even though I don't really like how close it is. I understand that the topography is a hurdle. I understand the lot shape is a hurdle and the existing structures and allowing access to the bays. So even though I'm hesitant to say yes, I would lean more towards yes.
I would lean yes, because the shape of this property is
So
apt
difficult
for
to,
it.
yeah. And anything that we do is gonna cost a lot more money to the
Yeah,
town.
and the impact to the community is gonna be tremendous. If you have to start removing gas tanks or knocking down buildings, one, you're gonna lose capacity.
Unless those gas tanks have to come out in the very near future
Well, that
anyway.
came
because
up
Where
in
would you
previous
put them
discussions,
though?
right?
That's the problem, because of the shape of this property.
Mhm.
To replace existing tanks in their current location is a lot cheaper than building a whole new tank field further down in the back
Oh,
of the
sure,
parcel.
yeah.
No matter which way, even if you have to replace the tank, that's part of capital planning anyway, so.
Yeah, I'm leaning yes also, just the same
I
reasons that you
don't
guys have.
see another design, just based, looking at the shape of this property, even though it is 4 acres.
Absolutely.
I have the same issue in my house. My house is one of these, it's 3 acres, and maybe 3/4 of it's usable.
So I'm leaning yes also,
Yeah.
with the remediation of maybe putting the different facade on the front of the building. Some
Facade,
extra plantings,
landscaping,
landscaping.
potentially fencing.
Yeah, and the
Lighting.
new lighting, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think those are all doable within the current budget. So
And then
you've
you
got,
don't lose
you've
your
got 3
sewer-
that'll
your sewer
tending
funds.
towards yes.
You don't have the 4th. I'm
Would
sorry.
would you like to make a recommendation for an extension?
Well, it actually has to come from the applicant. I
well-
did make that recommendation a while ago. I know I got some looks. But, yeah, that might be a suggestion, a motion to continue.
So the applicant could
Make
create a
changes.
motion to extend this to the following month and gather more information.
Okay.
Right? We
Make
would then
changes,
accept that.
perhaps.
We would then vote on that motion. We'd probably accept that motion because we would want to come to some sort of fruition on this.
Okay.
And then we would, any information that this board would require, if, I know you were taking notes, detailed notes, if you can come back next month with maybe different plan, different facade, the things that we were concerned with, right?
Okay.
If you feel comfortable doing that, then you can make that motion to continue.
I guess the one question, if I can ask, would be, what would be a reasonable setback for the building? 'Cause
That's a tough one.
I don't wanna make the changes,
Sure.
It's gonna cost money to make all these changes.
well, it's me doing
Well,
it.
we could throw him,
Well, you
throw him a
talked about
number.
the 2 office.
Well, no,
That's the
I'm saying
obvious
throw,
one.
I'm saying throw a number. He needs a number. So it's not gonna be 100, would it be 50?
Could it be
Would it be
75?
Would it be 75?
75 the other way. So it's a 25 looking for something on that idea.
You'd be happy with a 75?
I
Okay,
believe so.
So he'd be happy with a 75. So it's a type of thing.
75 back from the property line, so I'd get a
Yes,
variance for
25 feet of
feet.
release. relief you'd be looking for. I'd also request, if this is going to be a motion to continue, that you stake where that new line will be, so we can see it. Nothing like seeing it. They do it with cell towers. They'll put up a balloon so you know the heights and all that kind of stuff, so.
Line of sight and
Right,
neighborhoods.
yeah, line of sight, sure. So just as I'm coming down Kendall either way, either off the highway or from the bridge, you get a feel for, oh,
And
that's
tha-
all right.
And that would give you more room for plantings so that you're not shining lights out into
Yeah, the other option is you have
in
to
the
create
neighboring
two buildings,
houses. Yep.
one with an office.
What was that, Andrea?
The other option is you lop off the office and you move it.
Well, we talked that previous, and I think
Is
that's
it-
something to consider. The office becomes
As a
separate
drive-through.
L-shaped.
from the bays.
Drive through all of these.
You have two buildings. I know, it's more cost,
So
but
all
just
these
throwing them
trucks
out there.
pull through.
Could-
So I'm
And there's
thinking
no way to put the office
here.
up on the other end of the building,
Okay.
right? Just like take that block and put it up. Yeah, it's too constrictive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm looking at that right now, like if you had.
Yeah,
put
right.
in
Well, that's like
Yeah.
moving the whole building up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a challenge site, because we also got the recycling center, and I gotta accommodate trash trucks.
So you're looking at 75,
I could-
I'm saying if he made 50, right? If he made 50. If you had
I'm
fi-
open to ideas.
halfway,
60 from the
halfway, 50.
street.
Well, that's what he's saying.
Yeah,
yeah.
50.
But I'd like to see it staked, so we could get a look at it before the,
Staked.
So
Yeah.
give us,
red stakes, something that.
Yeah, just add what,
Yeah,
so
but-
50 feet back?
give us
Well,
a red stake
I
at
would-
50
I
feet
would
back
prefer even-
and 75
Okay.
feet back.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
50 feet back and
So
75
50
feet.
feet and 75 feet.
And then we'll
Okay.
view it this week. We'll all go out and
And
take a
then-
look at it.
Buy it every day.
Is it possible to get feedback in the interim on, 50 feet works, and then that way I can create a plan that accommodates. the
I'm not
50
sure how that works.
I don't-
Can we do that?
Of course you can.
We can E to the applicant?
You can eat a me.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
Right to the teacher.
Okay, all right, that works.
Let Pam know when it's staked out, and we'll all go.
yeah, we can drive
Do
by.
I drive
field
by and
trip.
see what makes sense?
I'll text you. Well, I'll call you.
Whatever makes sense.
Yeah,
Just keep us on the straight and
I drive
narrow.
by this every day.
As far as renderings, they're probably gonna be really high-level renderings of just
Or the visuals on Kendall? Is that-
like
I'm sorry?
the architecturals, like the vertical. Like what the building's kinda gonna look like, they're gonna be very high level, cause that's all I have.
If you can write, maybe, you don't need the architect's interpretation, but if you can write down what you would plan on doing to freshen up that front side that Pam was saying, to
Okay.
make it look a little more appealing or residential, or even, right?
Okay.
There you go.
You can write a paragraph on that, and that'll be part of your statement for your next submission, next time you come to the meeting. And then add the night sky lighting
Yep.
aspect.
Loving that.
And maybe a sketch.
Indirect.
Yeah, and then a sketch on the plantings, on the shrubbery.
Okay.
We're close.
Was a request made?
Not sure.
Because we can vote on that.
He's thinking about that right now.
Okay, all
Well,
right.
I don't know if
contemplating.
I can make the next meeting on the
That's fine. I mean, we meet once a month. It could be February as well.
Is it a possibility to continue, pick a date, and then if I can't accommodate that date,
We can push it out.
Yeah,
Okay.
just
Yes.
file
All right.
continuance with Pam.
Yes,
then I'll look
Yeah, no
to,
problem.
continue.
but you still have to make a motion to continue.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll make a,
Formally tonight.
January 9th was the next date.
oh yeah, I can't make that. I'll make a motion to, continue to the,
Request
or request to make a motion to continue to the February
February meeting,
meeting.
okay?
to the you want February meeting? Okay, February would be the
A
13th.
request has been made.
February 13th.
I believe this board
Yes,
has to vote on
February
said
13th.
request.
The request has been made for a motion to continue the
Motion to
February.
continue to the zoning board hearing of February 13th.
I'll second that motion.
And all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
February 13th, I'm home.
I believe this is snowstorm.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
He hasn't
Well,
even
that's-
sat
well,
down
That's
yet.
quick, that's quick.
Approved.
I can't even
I
speak.
need a
I wasn't
second
there.
on that one, though.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any, things, any topics that the, chair didn't, discuss? That we need to discuss?
We're not on the current agenda.
Yeah.
We got one new filing for January.
Okay. So I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Motion two, close?
Adjourn, yep.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
Hearing none. Everybody have wonderful holidays.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Enjoy the family time.